Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hi. Salam.
Okay, it's good to know that you can hear me.
Yeah, now I can.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Now, welcome to Teachers Live webinar. Ready for life. Before we start, could you please make sure that your mics are on mute so you can have better experience. Also, the cameras to be off. Okay. So, welcome to Teachers Live webinar, Ready for Life. We are going to discuss today with our guest speakers the importance of soft and life skills for students learning autonomy and professionally as well in their career paths. So our agenda includes Ms. Basma Bushnaq discussing empowering teachers to empower learners, where she is going to show us how we can equip teachers with the right tools to empower their students or their learners with the necessary life and soft skills. We also have Ms. Iram. Ms. Iram Zishan also discussed the importance of emotional intelligence in developing learners and teachers' life skills. Unfortunately, Ms. Arij was supposed to join us today, but there was an emergency and she won't be able to do it. So hopefully we can have her later in future webinars. Okay. I'm just checking the chat pod. Okay, welcome everyone. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can simply put them in the chat pod and I will make sure that we discuss them in the Q&A session at the end of our webinar today. As we would love to hear from you all and would love to know your opinion about our today's session. Okay, now this there will be a recorded version of the webinar. It will be posted on our YouTube channel. And actually, we are now live on our Facebook page. So you can actually check it now or later on our YouTube channel. Okay, let's just all make sure that our mics are off. Okay, so let's start. Now, first of all, let me introduce you to our first guest speaker, Ms. Basma Bushnaq. She's the co-founder of Incan Education and the general manager. She is a certified program leader for the Cambridge PDQ certificates for teachers. Before Incan, she worked at Mawhiba as a supervisor for schools under the Mawhiba Schools Partnership Initiative in the Western region. Ms. Basma has a bachelor degree in special education from Dar al-Hikma University, specializing in the field of the gifted and talented. She then obtained her master's in curriculum and assessment from the University of London. Ms. Basma continues to work with schools, school leaders and teachers in public and private schools to improve teaching and learning. She is also managing the Cambridge department at Incan. So thank you, Ms. Basma, for attending and becoming a guest speaker at our webinar. So now you can have the mic and start.
Thank you, Isra. Thank you for having us and inviting me to speak at this lovely event. It's always good to be in touch with the educators, teachers, and leaders in the community, especially at these difficult times.
Yes, the pleasure is all ours.
Okay, so طيب, if you want me to start, then I will go ahead. Let me just share my screen. So طبعا يعني first of all, as Isra said, she gave a very lovely introduction about me. Thank you. I've always been passionate about teaching and learning, and I knew from the beginning that I wanted to be into to work in education. And alhamdulillah, I feel blessed and I'm lucky that I was able to start a business for profit in this field, alhamdulillah. طبعا we from إمكان we do education advisory services, so we do consulting, we do advising on starting new schools, on developing existing schools, and also, as Isra said, we started also our association with Cambridge International Examinations back in 2016. We started giving the exams and supporting, of course, the Cambridge schools. Throughout all of these projects and services and all of the teachers and leaders and parents we talked to, I always found that there was something maybe missing, something that hasn't been a focus, unfortunately, in our system, in the culture of schools in general, in the culture of teaching. And it is always also missed. It's not the focus of teacher professional development programs, which is soft skills. What do we mean by soft skills? This is what we're going to actually talk about today, inshallah. But يعني, looking at the soft skills that the teachers need, يعني, we always think of a teacher, we think of the experience. We say, oh, he's an experienced teacher, or she's not an experienced teacher. But what does that mean? Other than the experience, okay, subject knowledge is important. How much are they specialized in their field? How much they're able to teach the students in the right way, using the right tools. They know how to level the information and the lessons for the students, and they know how to make the big ideas or the big concepts more simple for the students to grasp depending on their age. So definitely that is very important. But what is also important is the soft skills, the skills that unfortunately no one talks about. But it is what makes great teachers great. Yani now, if you can think of, go back in time, maybe a special teacher that you had in your during your school years or during your university, or maybe after that, what was so special about this teacher? Was it just because she was a good math teacher, or did she, because she had a master's, or she had 15 years of experience in teaching that subject? Probably not. Probably because he or she saw something in you that no one else saw. Maybe they were motivating, maybe they were encouraging, maybe they showed their human part or their human side more than other teachers who just, you know, came in class, gave in the lesson and left. And this is how they saw teaching is. So that's where the soft skills come in. They complete the role of the teacher, not just in providing subject knowledge for the students and information, of course, and teaching skills, but also in being humans and being role models. This is always something طبعا we know all from Islam. المعلم قدوة, the teacher is a role model that we need to obey and we need to respect. But why? Because we don't just learn information, but we also focus on these important soft skills. So I said soft skills so many times, and also today we're going to talk about it. What are soft skills? This is a very important question. We hear soft skills a lot. So what are the soft skills? Maybe I can see some answers in the chat box. Do you know what are the soft skills? Okay, let me see. So what are soft skills? I'm trying to open the chat box. Just a minute.
I can help you.
Yes, please. I can't see the answers. I don't know what happened.
Yes, from Mr. Farouk, we have commitment and communication.
Okay. Right.
From Aishin, we have student-teacher relationship.
Right.
From Mr. Fuad, teamwork, and also problem solving.
Good.
From Ms. Amal, soft skills meaning compassion and understanding different capabilities. Exactly. From Aishna, we have collaboration and compassion.
True. Excellent answers. Exactly. These are all correct. These are the skills that make or what we call people skills. It is the skills that you need to be able to deal with the people around you, whether they're your family, your friends, your colleagues, anyone basically around you. You need the people skills. And we know sometimes we see some people, you say that, oh, they're so kind, but they're very difficult to deal with, for example. So this is the parts, or these are the skills that we, as teachers, as educators, sometimes we forget to apply and forget to bring in the classroom with us. And this is what's important. So we have people skills, definitely communication, and we can talk so much about communication. As you know, you have so many ways of communication. It's not only how you communicate, but it's also how people communicate with you, and what are the best tools or the best methods of communication for yourself and for your students. So that's also very important. Are your students visual? Are they auditory? Are they kinesthetic? How do they learn better? How do they accept or listen to you in a better way? And of course, طبعاً, every age group has its limits and has its needs, as you know. We have طبعاً EQ, emotional intelligence, and also emotional intelligence is a big topic, and it's been a trend for a long time, and not just in education but also in business and in leadership. And there's a focus on the emotional intelligence skills that these teachers need to apply themselves in school or in the workplace, and also with their students. So emotional intelligence, such as skills such as self-awareness, self-regulation, social skills, these are also very important soft skills. So basically, if I want to recap, soft skills are what makes teachers human. And maybe also it's something in our culture. As Arabs, maybe we were raised as not to show our weaknesses, not to own our vulnerabilities or our faults. And for people around us, we have to show this strong side of us. But that's not true anymore, thank God. Because this used to put a lot of pressure on teachers, especially because teachers are human beings. They have their families, they have their life, they have their issues. So why are they supposed to come in the classroom or in school and forget everything and throw everything behind them? That's definitely not human. A human being has his strengths and weaknesses, has his mistakes and his right doings, has his achievements and his failures. And this is part of being an empowered teacher, and empowering your students is owning your faults, owning your weaknesses, admitting them, and asking for help, definitely, whenever you need that. So that is some discussion about the soft skills. But why is it important? So we said it's important to show our human side to our teachers and to our colleagues at work. It's important to own our mistakes or our weaknesses or our faults. Why? Because things happen in life that we cannot control. And those people who show their humanity or their human side, not just as teachers, in any profession or role in the world, they are the people who can most be adaptable and flexible with the changes that happen around them, whether there are changes they want or whether there are changes they didn't ask for, such as exactly what happened with COVID now, right? I'm sure many of you, all of us actually, not many of us, all of us, had a lot of difficulty, or maybe some difficulty. Some people adapted quickly. Some people just couldn't adapt. It was very difficult for them because they are used to having things their way. They're used to having a strict routine. They're used to having rules. And then suddenly everything went out of control. And that's maybe the beauty of life, if we want to be positive about it. So that's why soft skills and showing the human side is important. Do you think it was easy, I'm sure, for teachers or for you mostly, showing up every day online when in the beginning of the pandemic, when no one knew what was happening? We couldn't travel, we couldn't see our family, we were in lockdown, and you had to show up every day in front of the students. Were you able to show your vulnerabilities? Were you able to show your soft side to your teachers, to your students at that time or not? So this is a very important question, and I would like to see some answers. So who was able to show that side? Who was brave enough to share that with us? Okay, Isra, help me with the answers because my chat box disappeared again.
No, it's okay. I'm just waiting for the answers to come.
Oh, okay, okay. So who showed their vulnerabilities and their soft side to their students during the pandemic?
So Ms. Qaida here says, I did, but my students were so supportive, alhamdulillah. They made me stronger. Yes.
MashaAllah. Exactly. And that's why we need to show our students that soft side, because we have to be role models for them. You know, life is tough. Life is never going to be 1 + 1 = 2. Things happen, as we said, out of control. And we need, part of teaching the students is teaching them how to be human beings, how to adapt to life. We saw that in the past 6 months, life has really went upside down for so many people around the world. And that was a teachable moment, not teachable moment, teachable 6 months for us and for our students and our children, definitely. Any other answers?
I think Ms. Amal said that this is a way that she tells her students that they need to move on.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. So I can see that it's not easy also sharing these stories of vulnerability and stories of being fragile and weak in front of others. It's not an easy thing. I think especially for men. We have a couple of men right today with us. It's not easy for them, definitely. And as I said, it's a cultural thing, but it's never too late to change. And we always say, try to create this safe space in the classroom or in your school, between your colleagues, between your small network, to be able so that you feel safe sharing your soft side, and the students would feel safe also sharing that with you. I know it might be difficult for maybe students with older ages, like high school or university, but believe me, sometimes they just need a nudge. And they need just someone to show them that it's okay, it's safe, no one is going to judge you, no one is going to shame you, and that's when you will see wonders happening. It's another reason why showing the soft skills and adopting these soft skills is important is that we know that emotions are the key to learning. So it's like an on-off switch, and I'm sure you know that. You know, sometimes you have, I was going to say walk in the classroom, but none of us is walking into the classroom right now. All of us are walking into Zooms and Teams and virtual classroom. So when you start a class, you know, some days you're feeling great, you're energetic, you want to teach, and you feel so good about yourself. Some days you just want to kill yourself. You know, as I said, maybe you have family circumstances, you have other stuff worrying you, you're not feeling okay, you're worried about something. So this all reflects, and you know, if you're not emotionally well, you cannot really give at your best. And the same goes for students. If the student's emotional button is turned off, you're not able, they're not going to be able to listen to you, even if they want to. You know, they're burnt out. And this is what we're also seeing a lot now with teachers, with the students, with everyone basically. Everyone is burnt out. No one can travel, no one can go on vacations. We're still anxious about what's going on, what will happen next semester. Are we going back? Are we not? Are we traveling? Are we not? Are we taking the vaccine? So many ambiguities and so much vagueness around what's happening. And then just you have to let go. And again, going back to that, being resilient and being flexible, these are also some of the soft skills that are very important for us to adapt and for our students also to learn and practice, especially in these times. How did we support our teachers? طبعا, as I said, at IMCAN, alhamdulillah, we were blessed to be able to work with so many teachers around Saudi Arabia, from government schools, from private schools, international, and focus on that. Yani, Isra mentioned that I am also a program leader for the Cambridge Professional Development Qualification program, and it's quite a longer training program for teachers offered from Cambridge International, which offers a international certification. It's a 12-week program, but what's amazing about the program, it really focuses on the soft skills. And Isra was a trainer with one of the program, and she saw how teachers, we just didn't focus on the teachers applying the skills that they learned about teaching and learning, but they also had to reflect. So reflection means that I have to evaluate myself, and that's also another soft skill. No one wants to admit, as I said, their mistakes or what they did wrong, but reflection was a very important part of the course, and also giving and receiving feedback. طبعا also we have our platform أعناب. Anab is a platform for teachers that offers courses in Arabic for teachers and school leaders. In Anab, we see the teacher as a human being with cognitive abilities, طبعاً, psychological and technical. So we offered courses that fit all of these three main needs, if I can say, or developmental areas. So we didn't just focus on the teacher's cognitive and technical skills, but we also focus on the teacher's psychological and emotional well-being. So for example, we gave a course about the growth mindset. We gave a course about coaching. How can the teacher be a coach for their student, and how can the teacher also accept a course called أنا والآخر, or me and the others. How can the teacher accept and deal effectively with the people around them. So, and of course, definitely we're offering many other courses. And please, if you have the time, you can go check Anab platform and maybe register for some of these courses. So as I said, this is what we try to do. We always try to see that human side in teachers and in school leaders, because we believe that it is one of the keys to being a successful teacher and a successful educator and leader. طبعا, let's come to the core of the talk today, which is how to empower your students. So we mentioned soft skills, we mentioned being a role model for your students and showing that these soft skills. Another important point also is to look at the students' needs. What are their needs actually? And we know that maybe some of you, I don't know, maybe all of you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We tend to forget about that in teaching. And we assume that all of the students that we have in the class have their basic needs met. But we forget that sometimes it's not. Especially at these times since COVID started, so many students, maybe they got sick, their parents got sick, maybe someone in the family died from COVID or from its complications. They were maybe locked away from their fathers, their mothers, they were away. All of these they were basic needs for the students. So did we manage, or did we even care to ask if the students' needs are met? Because sometimes the students, they can't tell because they don't know that this is the issue. Maybe the student is acting out, maybe the student cannot focus. So we always advise that the teacher go and check, is this student needs are met? And maybe some of you would think, how would I know? I have 30 students in my classroom. How do I know that each one of them's needs are met? Well, that's why we say communication is very important. Going back to the soft skills, communicate with your students, create this safe space where they can feel that they can share whatever is going on in their life, طبعا, in special time and in a special way, not just يعني blabber about it. Have an open communication with the parents. In whatever way you need. I'm not pro WhatsApp groups, but sometimes it's the only way that works. So let it be. But definitely having this open communication with the parents helps a lot. Also, another way of empowering our students is practicing, as we said, emotional intelligence, not only ourselves, but also asking them to practice it. Maybe try to find activities and opportunities where they can practice these emotional intelligence skills. We talked about a sense of self-awareness and self-regulation, social skills, empathy. Empathy is very important. Empathy is how maybe I don't know how you feel, but I understand that you're going through a hard time. So I would hold this space for you to feel whatever you're feeling, whether it was anxiety, sadness, anger, pain, happiness, pride. So empathy is very important also to teach to students. And all of these fall under emotional intelligence. Digital intelligence. Also, another way of empowering our students, especially now, we're at the digital age, we found ourselves moving our lives and the education process is completely online. We started an MCAN in a partnership with an institute called DQ, Digital Intelligence Institute. It's an institute based in Singapore, and they are very big on digital intelligence. What does digital intelligence mean, or DQ? It means digital safety, security, literacy, dealing with bullying, dealing with identity theft, dealing with intellectual property, so many things, and you would be amazed how children can learn that quickly. We also offered a course about digital intelligence on ANAB if you are interested, and you can always, of course, check the DQ website. So, of course, how can I be able to teach my student and make sure that they get the best out of the learning experience in this virtual setting is by empowering them digitally, not just giving them tools and resources to use, but also giving them the right skills and the right mindset to use these resources and these programs safely and wisely. Another important thing is giving students a sense of self-control. Of course, this might feel a little bit challenging for some of you who prefers to have control in the classroom. We're not saying give them complete control, but we're saying at least in some areas where you feel that they can have a choice, then give them a choice. They can choose whether to submit the assignment using a Word processor, Word document, or a PowerPoint. You can give them a choice of maybe between two topics to write the essay about. You can give them the choice of choosing different math exercises that you know will all help them based on their level, and so on. So this also proved that giving the students a choice of sense of choice and control increases the motivation. Now, the number one complaint that I am hearing from teachers all around Saudi is the lack of motivation of students. So I know that the student is there. He logged in at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. and he stayed with me until 1 or 2 p.m. online. But did he learn? Did he receive? Was he engaged? Was he motivated? That is a very important question. And as I said, giving students a sense of choice and control in the many tasks or the some of the assignments, this helps a lot in motivation. I also mentioned feedback and reflection, not only for you as a teacher, but also between you and the students. How do you make them think about their learning? And this is what we call meta-learning and metacognition. So thinking about learning and thinking about thinking. So they need to reflect, not just receive information. And I'm sure you all have a lot of information to give them, but how do they feel about it? Are they thinking about it, or they're just memorizing it? Are they linking it to their lives? Are they linking it to their personal experience? Because this is the best way that they can learn something new, whether it was new information or a new skill. And of course, feedback. So why not have a feedback session with your students? Show them that I respect your opinion, and you respect mine. So this is how I feel about your performance. Maybe you have something also to tell me about my performance. And feedback is like a gift, you know, you receive it, you don't discuss it, you don't defend yourself against it, you just receive it and say thank you. So why not try and maybe teach or practice that with your students? Just, you know, have some quick way, either personal, one-on-one, or maybe you can use one of the beautiful apps that we have right now, such as maybe Padlet, such as can't think of the other names right now, but I'm sure you know many applications that can help collect responses from students in a private way. Maybe students are not comfortable sharing their feedback in front of others, and maybe you're not comfortable receiving it in front of others. So why not design your own feedback session, or the way that you get feedback that suits you, طبعا. The last advice that I can give, or that I believe that would really help in empowering your student, is not being a teacher, but being a facilitator. MashaAllah, students now have everything they need. We're living in the knowledge age. So they have the resources, they have the digital skills, they have everything they need. But why do they need a teacher? Going back to our main topic, is to show them how to be wise human beings, how to use all of these knowledge and skills and everything they learned wisely in the right way, having a higher purpose, and of course, being a effective and successful part of the community. So I think if we went into our teaching careers and deal with our students in that way, seeing ourselves as facilitators, as coaches, and not teachers in the old-fashioned way, then definitely that will give our students a lot of empowerment, a lot of responsibility. It will encourage them to be lifelong learners. And of course, in the end, this is what we want, all of us, right? We want our students to be better than us. We want our students to have successful careers, to be important part or elements in society. And then they would remember us, inshallah, after a long time, saying that, yes, I had a great teacher who saw the potential in me, who showed me that it's okay to be a human, it's okay to admit my mistakes, it's okay to think, reflect, give feedback respectfully, and I owe that teacher a lot. So these are my advice for you. I hope, inshallah, that you found it useful. If you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear that.
Thank you, Ms. Basma, very much for such an insightful presentation and discussion. Actually, we have a few questions, but I prefer that we can keep them till the Q&A session.
Okay.
We have a Q&A section at the end of our session today. So I'm collecting all the questions now. So in case you have any question, please type it now in the chat pod, so I can I save it for later. Okay, I already have 2 questions from Mr. Farouk. So if you have any other questions, please type them now. Meanwhile, thank you very much, Ms. Basma,
Thank you, Isra,
for your time and your efforts. It was amazing. I really benefited a lot from what you have discussed today. And I've also shared the websites for Imkan and Anab on the chat pod. So, so they can feel free to go ahead and check your work and amazing services. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Basma. So now we're gonna be giving the mic to Ms. Iram. Before we start with Ms. Iram's presentation, I'd like to introduce her to you. She is a mind sciences trainer. She is a certified life coach, neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, student and relationship counselor, vlogger, motivational speaker, soft skills trainer. She is also the founder of Easy Minds. She has a profound experience in the corporate sector as an HR specialist and training expert. She's also been designing and executed different training and soft skill development programs for teenagers, kids and adults for many years. So let's welcome Ms. Iram, and you can start.
So, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Can you hear me, everyone?
Yes, I can hear you, so I think they can too.
Yes, thank you, Basma, for this opportunity to talk to such a wonderful panel of people. And thank you so much. For the introduction that you just given for me. Let me share my screen and let's talk about the topic we are going to discuss. Can you see my screen now? Just confirm me if you can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, let me slideshow. Okay, so we are going to discuss about, we are discussing on the same lines as Basma did. And I must say that Basma has explained it very well, and she has given the very relevant examples, and all the definitions and all the techniques she has shared are truly amazing. So Basma, I'm just continuing on the same line. Before that, as Isra just told us about my introduction, so it's just a slide about my work. I've been working as a trainer, so my main target audience is mostly kids, teenagers, kids, and women in general. So I'm a life coach, so I do personal coaching sessions, student coaching sessions, as well as the different training programs, as Isra told. So my inspiration, you would say that area of expertise is the soft skills or the life skills. So we are going to discuss what are the life skills which are mostly not that much given importance as the academics, the education, the subjects like maths, physics, chemistry, English, or science. We have been so much concerned about the grades in those subjects. We are so much concerned as a parent, as a teacher, about the overall academic performance of the kids. But we are not that much concerned about the very important, as Basma told us, that the human side of the kids, the emotional side of the kids, which is the most important. And why they are being called life skills? Because they are actually those skills which help us to live our life in general. So life skills, if I talk about the definition, the skills which are life skills are the abilities that facilitate the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of an individual. So life skills are those skills which we are actually going to have those skills, and if we learn at the right time, they are going to help us in the practical life. Once we are done, the kids are done with the education and everything, and they are actually exposed to the real world, the world full of challenges, the world full of new things. So we have to be, as a parent, as a teacher, as an educationist, we have to be very much concerned about the life skill side of the kids, so that they learn all the ups and downs of life, and they know when they face the world, they are actually ready with the positive behavior, and they could deal the demands and challenges of everyday life. So when we are capable of doing it, that we say that we have done our job as a parent, as a teacher, as an educationist. So Einstein very well said that education is not learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. So what do you say? What's your opinion in this? What do you think the current education system in overall in Middle East, in West, or in third world countries. The education system is more of learning and memorizing the facts and figures, or it's training the mind to think. And when I'm saying training the mind to think means creative thinking. So what do you say? In the chat box, if one of you, some of you could mention that, what do you think overall about this education system, specifically in Saudi Arabia and generally overall? Let me see.
It's okay, Iram. I'm checking the chatbot for you. So I'm just waiting for the answers. Miss Maha Ijaz says feeding kids. I think, do you mean spoon feeding, Miss Maha, or what kind of feeding?
Yeah, I think Maha meant to say that we are literally spoon feeding. Please read from this page to this page, learn from this side to this side. I mean, we are making them so mechanical because we just want them to, okay, do from this chapter to this chapter. Maha, correct me if I'm wrong. That this is my experience. I'm a mother of 3, and I've seen if I talk about, I don't want to criticize any system or any school, but in general, we are teaching our kids in a way that, okay, learn from this chapter, these areas, and you're good to go for the exams. So we are preparing the kids for exam, and they know that we just need to get good grades, and that's enough. So we will get to the next grade, the next grade. We just need to be good academically. We are good and we are getting the grades. We are promoting to the next level, and that's the purpose of the whole education. But what I am actually emphasizing, or what Basma has been telling us, that please focus on those soft skills or the life skills, which are the practical skills, which are the integral part of any person, which are going to stay till the last day of any human's life. Why? Because we are training them to think creatively. We are training them to have a problem solving approach, to work on their own, to face the challenges of life, and to see the world in a very positive way, that they can contribute towards the well-being of the whole world. So we are not asking them to memorize few things. Rather, we are asking them to think, to broaden the perspective of their lives, and to get, and let me tell you, as a Muslim, we know that we have been taught, we have been asked to learn to the level that we know the purpose and the reason behind our life. So that is the life skill. When we are teaching them and when we letting them know the real purpose of their existence, the existence of the kids, or in general for us. So I've just mentioned few of the skills that basically, if you Google, if you write life skills in Google will show you different list. Somewhere there could be at least 48 items under technical skills, household skills, family skills, finance skills, because all these categories have different aspects of life skills. But I've just taken these because these are more relevant to the education system and the education life of the kids. So the life skills, these are the skills which are, number one, the problem solving, the critical thinking, effective communication skills, decision-making skills, creative thinking skills, interpersonal skills, self-awareness and building skills, empathy. As Basma has rightly mentioned, empathy is very important. One of the best skills to learn to have a successful personal and professional life. And coping with stress and emotions. We all know we have been facing, after this corona pandemic, this area, coping with stress and anxiety, is one of the most important and prominent area of our life. As a kid, as an adult, we are having that difficult times where we need to be focused, positive, and we need to be more concerned about the emotional well-being of human being. So if you categorize all these 10 or 11 skills into 5, so these are the major 5 skills, you can say, that has to be part of the education and learning of any kid, any child, where he must learn after certain grades, after certain years of education, how to make a good decision under pressure, how to think creatively and critically, that both are included into that. How to communicate. Communication is one of the most highly ranked skill. I'm going to share that screen just after some seconds or minutes, that how is important to have that communication and interpersonal skills in any child. Self-awareness and self-reflection, which leads to empathy, is one of the, again, the very important area of life skills. And then coping with emotional stressors, anxiety, stress, depression, and all those pressure, working under pressure. These are those skills which are the real areas of success for any individual. So, according to the GIMIC, it's a GIMIC survey. I must tell you what this GIMIC stands for. It's Graduate Mechanical and American Council, which says that in 2019 and 20, the survey has been conducted, and they said the top ranked skill, the survey has been taken from the CEOs of the different companies, and they said as an employer, as an CEO or as a manager, we look for communication and interpersonal skills for any individual who is there for an interview. Apart from the technical skills, communication skills, interpersonal skills, and the ability to motivate, how you lead a team building skills. These are the top ranked skills. So we can say that in spite of all those good education background, we need to work on these areas. We need to work on communication skills, how to make them feel positive about themselves, how to have that ability to motivate ourselves and others as well in a team, in a group. And you can see character building is at the number 3. So usually if you talk about education system, the focus is not on generally focus is not on character building. We are more concerned about all the facts and figures and memorization of different subjects, but we are not that much concerned about the character and honesty of any individual. So that is something which make us to the point of realization that life skills should be the integral part of any individual. And as a parent, why I'm adding parent again and again, because it's not the sole responsibility of the teachers and education institutions. Because in spite of the fact that schools and the education institutions play a very, very vital role, the primary role is again coming from the parent side. So whatever in any kind of good institution you're sending your kid is, but the thing is what kind of training you are giving to your child at home. And when I'm saying the training, that tarbiyah or training would start right from the age of 1, maybe in months. So kids are learning right from very initial years of their lives. And it's been proven from psychology, from the research, that initial 7 years are the most important years of any child's life, because your subconscious mind is activated at that time, and most of the personality is built during that time of initial 7 years. So you can very well imagine that the role of tarbiyah and training from parents' point of view is how critical it is. So no doubt we are talking about to the teachers, talking about the educationist, but as a parent we must not forget the important role of training. And when I'm saying that, emotional intelligence is one of those skills which is, as Basma has mentioned, is very, very important factor of anyone's life success factor. And what is that? The ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions, as well as the emotions of others. So again, as I've started with the notion that we have to be concerned about the well-being, the emotional well-being of the kids, of our children. Why? Goldman, you must have heard his name. He has written his very word famous book, Emotional Intelligence, in 1970. And he said that emotional intelligence uh, plays a very important role. An EI Research Center identified that the role of emotional intelligence in excellent performance is about 70%. While IQ, intelligent quotient, indicates a person's intelligent level. We all are very familiar with this term IQ, because this IQ test or IQ level is always there in education, for any education institution. But the role of IQ is primarily about 30%, 25 to 30%. So you can see the overall performance and success of any individual would mainly dependent on your EQ, which is your emotional intelligence. In the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey supports that EQ is far more important in work, your professional work, as well as your personal life, and many times more important in leadership roles. So we can understand and we can see that why and how it's important to have life skills in our perspective, in our education perspective. Do you want to ask any questions so far? So please let me know, otherwise I'll proceed, because I'm sharing the screen, so I can't see anything else other than my screen.
I have questions for you, Ms. Iram, but I'm saving them for the Q&A section. So yes, please keep on going, and at the end, I'm going to share the questions with you.
Okay, so we are talking about the emotional intelligence or life skills, because emotional intelligence has a very deep connection with life skills. So as Basma has also mentioned this term self-awareness, and why I have taken, because among those 8-9 skills that I have mentioned earlier in the slides, I have just taken two as in my top favorite skills, life skills. And among those, self-awareness is the most important skill. It's from my perspective. We all know that problem solving, critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making, all these areas are equally important for any individual in their personal or professional life. But why I've started with self-awareness, and why self-awareness is an important pillar of emotional intelligence as well, because without knowing our own selves, we are not actually, we cannot do anything better for the world. So self-awareness means that you are starting from yourself. And unfortunately, we have been taught for so many skills, but nobody is actually focusing that much on self-awareness, because it's a super skill. It's called a super skill, where you actually know you have the freedom, you have the empowerment, you know yourself, you know your emotions, you know your triggers. Being a coach, when I coach any student or any person, I always take few assessments for their self-awareness. And you must be amazed to know that after 1 or 2 sessions, at least 2 sessions on self-awareness, by the time the person reaches to the session number 3, things are so evident, so clear, and so prominent for the person and for me as a coach. Why? Because we have been through the process of self-awareness. I let the person to think, reflect, and get to know about himself or herself, so that she would be able to manage her problems, or all those challenges which are there in his life or her life. So self-awareness is a very empowering concept, where you are focusing on yourself, you are doing journaling, you are meditating, you are praying, you are keeping a track record on about your thoughts. And there's a term called self-awareness pyramid, which starts with the building block of values. And as I've told you that I've actually take 2 sessions on self-awareness, where we go for value assessment. You must be knowing what are the values. Values are the GPS of our lives. The values are the indicators of the decision making that we make in our life. So right from the age of 4 or 5 till the age of 60, 70 or 80, we make decisions based on those values. For example, if I ask you, let's do it for a minute. What are your top 3 values? The audience, please, can you mention in the chat box your top 3 values? The values are, I'm assuming that we all know what are the values. Values are those areas or those foundations on the basis of which we make our decisions. As I've told you, that it's a GPS. So your whole life map is based on your values. So if you please mention your values, top 3 or top 2 values in the chat box. So it would be a kind of short self-reflection exercise for you guys.
So Miss Maha says justice. Miss Yanka says integrity, honesty, fairness. Kamna says honesty and discipline. Miss Maha added honesty to justice as well.
And Isra, what about you?
Miss Amal, I'll share mine later with you in private. Miss Amal says honesty, hopefulness, empathy.
Okay, very nice. See, so for example, if I give my own example, I would say the family is one of my values. So whatever decision I'm going to make, that is actually linked with family, and whatever decision is there, I just think my family first, the relationship first, and then any other thing. So if for a person, money is a value, or fame is a value, or appreciation is a value. So as a teacher or as a parent, we need to be very careful that what kind of values we are teaching to our kids, because in future the building blocks of their personality is actually based on those values. So what if I'm telling them that the glamour is everything, the shine is everything, the fame is everything in the life, the money is everything in the life. We know we are facing this issue, as at least I can say as a mother, I am facing this problem, that the kids are having so much into their life, and they say that the life is only on the screen. So they think that life is just about YouTube videos, it's about games, it's about shopping and stuff like that. So let them feel about the reality of life, the practicality of life. So we need to make our kids self-aware, and that start with the values, then feelings. How do you feel? Let them have that emotional connection with themselves and with their other class fellows, with their other mates, and ask them, how do you feel? Tell the kids, and it's very important for the teachers as well to know that there is no good or bad emotions. Emotions are always there. We have to accept them. We have to channelize them, and we have to deal with them. So no emotion is bad. Even anger is not a bad emotion, because that's part of our personality. We need to let the kids understand that your emotions, your thoughts, your thinking pattern, all these things are important, and you must know what's going inside your head, what's going inside you, to understand what's happening outside you. So this is the very important area. I would say that all the parents or teachers and all the educationists, they must consider that they are dealing with the human beings, not with the machines. So the emotional connection is very, very important. And for that, again, I would stress rather that self-awareness is very important. As a coach, I act, and as an NLP practitioner, I make sure that I inculcate this mindset of self-reflection into my kids, into my students. So as a teacher, we all can do that. We all can let them have that feeling of self-reflection, and the thoughts, the emotions, the value systems, and empathy. We have talked about this point, but let me tell you that empathy in today's world, where Zoom calls have taken over the world, here empathy is very important. See, we are sitting on the screens. So what do you think? What is empathy? if I would ask you that when we are sitting on the screen, or when our kids are learning virtually, how could we teach them empathy? But before that question, let me just read out this definition for you, and then I'll switch on to the question. That empathy is the ability to sense other people's emotions, coupled with ability to imagine what someone else might be thinking or feeling. So you are showing positive behavior in others in the need or difficult situations. So what do you think? How could it be so important for us as a teacher to be empathic, and how to inculcate empathy in kids when we are talking on screen? We are talking virtually. What do you say? Or should I rephrase my question? How could empathy plays its role when you are talking on screen, when you are virtually connecting with each other? Because empathy is linked with communication skills as well. Isra, do we have any reply, or
I'm just waiting for some replies, but I'd like to share my experience actually, because I used to do this with my students. Like, I do something called the wellness check. This wellness check is something that either you can do, like you can customize on, let's say, a Google Doc or a Google Slide, or you can, if you're using some of the learning management systems such as Edmodo, they have some built-in wellness check features in them, where you can simply ask your students, how are you today, or how are you feeling today? So I think this can be a way to show empathy, or to and it also teaches your students empathy, because they start asking each other the same question that you ask them. Now I have also some replies here. When you see the interaction of the students with what they are watching, then when they apply it to each other. Ms. Amal says showing understanding. Kamna says by asking about the routine.
See, let me give you an example. When you ask your child, how was your day? And if he says, it's fine, it's fine. So it's fine is just a verbal communication. But until and unless you notice his facial expressions or his body language, you would never be able to know the exact situation that's what's going on with his day. So if you say, it's fine, so you can learn. Empathy means that you learn from the body language. You see the connection, that emotional connection is there. Because most of the time we are talking verbally. The verbal communication is just 7%. That's the reason. And why the tone and the body language is the rest 93% of communication skills. Because we can never ignore the facial gestures, the body language, the tone, the eye contact. So when you're talking and teaching virtually, we are missing out many of such elements. So this is the reason why the kids are losing the motivation. And this is the reason why the teachers are so under stress, because teachers are doing their best. I know that they are doing their best. They are rather working harder for the students to learn and understand. But because of that lack of communication, the non-verbal communication, or the empathy, the emotional connection, the touch, that connection is missing, and that connection is actually creating a small, or you can say big issues in this virtual learning. That's my take on it. But I would say that empathy is simply listening. It's not about communicating, it's about listening as well. You are listening, you are watching, you are empathizing, you are seeing the facial expressions, and you're understanding what kind of emotions the next person is going through. So this is very, very important to teach our students empathy, because what I see these days, empathy is lacking. We are like, I give different sessions on training on bullying, and the number one factor in bullying is lack of empathy. because bully does not have the skill, empathy as a skill. He doesn't know that how it felt like being bullied, and he or she does not relate to the next kid or the next person. So empathy is such a remarkable skill if we let our kids, and if we try it as an adult to apply and imply the skill in our life, that lives will be much more easier, more positive in all possible way. So someone said that empathy is the ability to step outside of your bubble and into the bubbles of others people. So it's putting your foot in someone else's shoes. It's looking at someone else's perspective. So there's a difference between sympathy and empathy. So I'm not talking about sympathy. Sympathy is different. Sympathy is you are feeling for others, but empathy, you are actually getting their perspective, and your respect, with all due respect, you understand others' feeling. So this respect, this empathy is one of the most important life skills in my understanding, that this should be part of our daily routine learning, because it's not possible that we lose 10-15 years of education without focusing on these skills, and then at the age of 20, 18 or 20, we are expecting the kid, the kid is, or the grown up boy or girl is already with all those life skills. So the life skills have to be the part of their routine at their home, in their schools, in all possible way, in sports, in painting, in arts, in crafts, in music, in all possible aspect. We can learn, we can let them learn all those life skills, which are actually going to play a very important role in their lives, and which are the practical skills. Basically, you are actually going to use those skills in your life, in your personal life as well as in your professional life. So for the teachers, it's just a small, we can say that a lesson for the teachers, that emotionally intelligent teachers are more effective than those who are not. And let me tell you, no doubt, emotional intelligence skill is a develop. You can develop this skill through practice, through compassion. You can do that. But if some teachers are more innately emotionally intelligent than others, so some people are inborn, they are more emotionally intelligent, they are more empathetic, they know, they feel for others, and some people are not that sensitive and that empathetic. So, but the good news is that we can learn, and we can make other learn the skills, these skills of empathy. And teachers can develop emotional intelligence through ongoing learning and reflection. So self-reflection and self-awareness and creative thinking, problem solving, positive approach, these things are the real skills, the leadership skills, the team building skills. We can take, we as a teachers, as a parents, we can work harder on those character building skills. I would call them character building, because without character, education is nothing. We are not here to train the machines. We are here to train the human beings. Those human beings are our future. So we need to, as a teacher, I would say, we need to connect with them psychologically, emotionally, and then try to work harder to actually help them use those skills. And I have just mentioned few, I thought just to share with you guys some of the techniques or the methods to teach students life skills for education. And I'm sure that we are already, some of the methods are already being applied in the classroom setting. But like discussion, debate, brainstorming, role playing, storytelling, case study, or question answer. But one of them, can you tell me, any of you, which one is your favorite method of teaching? Then I'll share mine. Among these 6-7 methods, what do you think? Which one is the most effective method of teaching the life skills?
We have from Yanka, case study, from Maha, activity-based, from Farouk, start with WH questions, Kamna says role play. Nishad says discussion and storytelling. Amal says brainstorming and storytelling. Bikash says case study.
So I'm sure if we would ask one by one, everyone would have a strong points to tell us that why and how it's so effective, teaching them the real life skills. But like brainstorming, for example, is very empowering concept where you let the learners talk and discuss. So the kind of empowerment we are giving to the students, they talk, they feel more confident, they are willing to accept their weaknesses because they are sharing their opinions. Some opinions are okay, some are not okay, but we learn to accept, we learn to let go, and we learn to respect each other's opinions. So the brainstorming is very effective. Role playing has its own empathy. The aspect of empathy is already there. Storytelling is very effective for younger kids, but we cannot say that it's for only for younger kids because we can relate to the characters of those stories and we can emotionally attach to those characters. So it has its own uniqueness. So all of these methods could be very well utilized if we use them professionally, technically, and we can help them have that emotional well-being aspect, the empathy aspect, the team building aspect, and that will actually lead us to learn better and better. And the connection between teacher and students would definitely get enhanced and improved through these techniques and methods. So let me wrap it up with the whole point that we as a teacher, as a parent, need to work on these 4 important areas of any individual or a student. Health. The education must be linked about the primary basic health concepts. The child must know what is hygiene, what is hand wash, which we already know it very well after this pandemic, and what is your how to protect yourself to get sick easily. But at the same time, it's a more it's about physical health, and it's about your emotional health and mental well-being. Let them know the power of emotions, the power of expressing those emotions, and how to have that strong personality, how to let go, how to forgive, to move on in life, because the people who forgive easily are always more happier in their lives. How to inculcate the concept of gratitude in their lives, because it's been proven by research that the kids who are more, or the individuals who are more grateful, are far more happier than those who are not. So all these things are linked with their well-being. Then EQ, or their social connectedness, how they interact with teams, with people, how well they have those interactive skills, interpersonal skills or intrapersonal skills. So, and last but not the least, their connection with the higher power. We must not forget that in all this day-to-day 24/7 activities and education and so many things, so much pressure about studies, exams, and tests, we must not forget to let them have that feeling of spirituality. That aspect of spirituality must be there. They must know that we have been sent to this world with an agenda, with a purpose, with a reason, and the link, the stronger the link with you and your Allah or your God, in every culture, in every religion, that concept is there, and that concept plays a very important role in your child development, in his personal and professional development, in his emotional and physical well-being. So for that, we must, as a teacher, I always say that teachers are the leaders. They are the true inspirations for the students. And we talk about, because we have a belief that teachers are, this is the prophecy of prophets. This profession is such a noble profession that if we take it up as a noble cause, there's ajr and sawab for us. So if we link and if we help our child and students to find their purpose in life, that would be the best thing we can do in their lives. to give a meaning in their lives, to tell them how to give back to the community, how to give back to the world, how to make a difference, a positive difference. We have been, again I'm repeating this sentence, and I've always, in all my sessions, even in my YouTube channel, in all my videos, I try to give this last, as a last message, I try to give it to the people, that do not forget that we have a reason to live. And until unless the reason and the purpose is alive, we are the human beings. We are the supreme creation of Allah. And if we remove this important aspect from our lives, there's no difference between us and animals, between us and machines. So we should be proud of the fact that we are the teachers, we are the leaders, we are the inspirations for others, and we have to create that meaningfulness into our child's, into our students' life. And that is the best thing we can do in their lives. So thank you so much. With that note, I would like to thank you everyone, and Isra, over to you.
Thank you, Iram, very much. This was extremely informative and very, very helpful. I'd like to thank you all for attending as well. Now, Ms. Iram has a Facebook and an Instagram page. So if you want to communicate with her at any time, I'm gonna give you the links now on the chat pod. If you have any further questions, please write them now in the chat pod, because we are now moving on to the Q&A section. Now, we'll start with Ms. Basma's questions. Now, Ms. Basma, you have 2 questions from Mr. Farouk. The first question is Bloom taxonomy part of emotional intelligence to develop their soft skills as a person primarily and as the professional secondary?
Okay, good question. And no, actually, Bloom taxonomy is based on the research of Bloom, one of the leaders of psychology theorists in the history. Basically, Bloom's taxonomy, or it is based on the different levels of cognitive abilities, if we can say. It is different than the emotional intelligence. But somehow you can link it together, since when we try to put, for example, activities or questions for our students, especially higher order thinking questions, we would tend to find maybe subjects that is related to emotional intelligence, such as moral dilemmas, for example, or social dilemmas that the students might face in their everyday life. And that's how we can connect them both. But definitely it's not the same thing, but it can be connected.
Okay, thank you. Another question, how can an introvert be converted into an extrovert through these soft skills, especially in this virtual scenario? Any practical suggestions?
I love that question, because I'm an introvert, and it's very difficult. I hear you, to actually not convert. I think you should own your introvertness and be proud of it, but at least try to sometimes try a new way of communicating, or push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone, because the magic plays. You'll feel more confident, definitely. But of course, if you push yourself too far, you'll feel outside your skin and you would feel overwhelmed from trying to be an extrovert. So what I can advise you is to start with small or baby steps, such as maybe if you would like the feedback or would like to communicate with your students, maybe you prefer that one-on-one. Maybe you can ask them to send you emails. Maybe you can find one of these applications, as we said, which you can receive direct messages from each student, and you can also do the same. Maybe you can schedule smaller groups meetings with your students, for example, if they are all on the same level or they have the same interest. There are different ways, but my advice is start slow with small steps, so that you can have these quick wins, if we can say, and never push yourself out of your own skin.
Thank you. One last question. How can I empower my team and colleagues as a leader and also make sure that it's not affecting the students or the work?
Very important question also. I think many leaders or many, whether in education or in other professions, they worry that if they show this vulnerable side or they show their human side to their team or their colleagues, this will affect the work will not be done, and it will lose our professional side. And it might affect the student if you're speaking about a school setting. But what I'm trying to say here is that if you look at it on a different side, as we said, we're all humans and we bring some of us or a part of us to work with us, whether that's in a school or in a hospital or whatever. So first of all, if you started with your team, then start with yourself, just like I said. Start with yourself, start embodying these soft skills and these important skills that Ms. Eram also talked about, of self-awareness and empathy and emotional intelligence with yourself, and then own it, as we said. Try to practice it with your team and encourage that. So when you see someone from the team doing or practicing one of these skills, encourage them. Maybe make a public encouragement, or maybe send a thank you note or a public email saying thank you. And for the student, that would definitely not affect the work, because as we said, it's a cycle. If you are in a bullying cycle, so everyone will bully each other. If you are in a shaming cycle, also shame will be contagious. And the same goes for practicing soft skills and practicing emotional and social intelligence. So it's contagious. If you did it right, and if you were open about receiving feedback, and of course, طبعاً, abiding to whatever quality measurements that you are following in your school, inshallah, that will not affect the work negatively at all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Basma.
Thank you.
Now, I have a question for Ms. Iram. Is there any standard scale through which life skills can be measured that will justify a person's caliber or aptitude to become expendable?
Yeah, as I've told you that there are so many tests available for emotional intelligence, for value assessment, and different soft skills. The assessments are there. There are different kind of worksheets and tests that you can have, or you can Google it, you can have it. And the coaching is the best practice through which you can actually explore those areas of life skills. But apart from those assessments and everything, as I've told you, that there are few parameters, like we have discussed about the character. Look at the kid's general interaction, how he or she is talking, his communication skills. It's not important to be extrovert, as Basma told it. It's not about introvert or extrovert. They're the best leaders who are introverts. So introvert does not mean that you cannot talk well, or you cannot understand people, or you cannot lead a team. It's all about the perspective and the right kind of approach to use. So there is no right or wrong. Just look on the standards that has to be applied in the life. The character is one of them. Communication, non-verbal communication, listening skills are important. Then look at the kid, how well he or she works in a team. Even if they are playing in a playground, how well they are gelling with each other. Are they critical? Are they asking questions, or are they just silent all the time? So there are so many small indicators which actually, as a parent, as a teacher, let us know that what's going on with the kid. So there are assessments, there are emotional intelligence tests available. Yes, the answer to that question.
Thank you very much, Ms. Iram. I think that's it for the questions so far. So I'd like to thank you all, Ms. Iram and Ms. Basma, for your amazing information and your time and effort in sharing your knowledge with us. And we're looking forward to knowing more from you. Actually, I think we will need to have more sessions with you about different topics regarding education and life in general. Thank you all for attending. It was an extreme pleasure to have you at Teachagen's first webinar, but not last, inshallah. Now, for all attendees, you will receive a certificate of attendance via email. So in case you haven't registered through Google Forms, please send your email addresses to ehamis@teachagen.com. I've already copied, I've written my email address for you at the chat bot. So please send me an email, let me know. Okay, so you can receive your certificates. Now, if you want to get back to this session's recording, you will find it on our YouTube channel. So I'm gonna copy and paste for you again and put it for you in the chat pod here. Okay, so you can get back to it hopefully by tomorrow or after tomorrow. You will find it there. Okay, and also you will find it live on our Facebook page here. Now we have a few minutes, so I'd like to introduce you to our company's website, if you don't mind. So I'm going to share with you our company's website. It's teachagen.com. So you can simply go there and check all of our services. Now we have a professional development academy where you can find different PD sessions for teachers. It's all related to technology, online classroom management, teaching strategies online for virtual learning, apps for every teacher. And you can also simply send me an email to let me know if you're interested about any of these courses, or you can simply request a course by clicking on this link that will take you to a Google form that you can fill out. We also have another digital transformation services for schools and institutes, including educational consultation, student lifecycle management. And so if you are also interested in requesting or knowing more about our services in that department, you can simply request a service from our website right away. Now, I would love also to expand our family with you guys. So if you feel like you are interested in joining Teachagen, please feel free to send me your resume on my email here through our website as well. And you can also share your thoughts if you would like in our blog. Okay, this is something new in our website that I wanted to share with you. You can go to the blog and check our participants' ideas. And at the same time, if you are interested in sharing your writings on our blog, please feel free to send me your writings and we are going to publish them on our website for free. Okay, so to wrap up, let me check if we have any questions before we end our session today. Okay, so I got some emails. Okay, let me collect them really quickly before we leave. Thank you, ladies, very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Isra, for having us. Thank you, Ms. Era, for sharing this session, and I hope it was beneficial for all, inshallah.
Yes, yes, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was beneficial for all of us. I'm one of them, actually. I really benefited a lot from your knowledge today, ladies, and I hope that we can meet again really soon.
Inshallah, for sure. Thank you, Isra. Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care,
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Take care, all of you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes. Alaikum salam. Bye-bye.
Bye.